Hello friends, this is a video presentation on chromatography. Chromatography is a Greek word. Chromator means color, grapho means return. Chromatography is an analytical technique employed for the purification and separation of organic and inorganic substance. This is the time frame showing the significant contribution of scientists in the field of chromatography. He is the scientist Michael Sweat who coined the word chromatography, and these two scientists A.J.P. Martin and R.L.M. Singe, who received the Nobel Prize for the invention of partition chromatography in the year 1952. Chromatography works on the principle of partition coefficient, that is Kd. The analyte distributes between the two and it can be calculated by this formula. Chromatography mainly consists of two phases, stationary phase and mobile phase. Stationary phase means a static phase, mobile phase means moving or while carry the analyte, and the analyte will distribute between the two phases. Planar chromatography are of two types, paper chromatography and thin layer chromatography. Paper chromatography, it is an example of planar chromatography. The principle involved is the partition chromatography, wherein the substance are distributed or partitioned between the two liquid phases. Stationary phase is the water, mobile phase which moves over the water, and molecules will separate based on its affinity for stationary and mobile phase. These are the types of paper chromatography: ascending chromatography, descending chromatography, two-dimensional paper chromatography, and horizontal paper chromatography. These are commonly used solvents for the separation of compounds like amino acids, carbohydrates, and plant pigments. Paper chromatography. Solvent travels downwards on the paper and is assisted by gravity besides capillary action. The solvent reservoir is at the top. Ascending paper chromatography. In this type of chromatographic technique, the solvent front travels in the upward direction on the paper by the action of capillary. The solvent reservoir is at the bottom of the beaker. The paper tip with the sample spots just dip into the solvent at the bottom in such a way that the spots will remain above the solvent. Dimensional chromatography. Here the chromatogram develops two directions at right angle. Two different solvent systems are used in this. Horizontal paper chromatography. The solvent travels from center midpoints towards the periphery. Once the chromatography has run, spots in the paper chromatogram can be detected in four different ways: by their natural color, by their fluorescence, by their chemical reactions that takes place after the paper has been sprayed with various reagents, or by radioactivity. Spots are usually identified by comparing standards of known RF value. An RF value can be calculated by using this formula. Advantage and disadvantage of paper chromatography: it is inexpensive, rapid method, provide graphics and clear results. Paper chromatography can be reproduced easily as long as the conditions are controlled and maintained. Used as a qualitative method for identifying the component in a mixture, the separated spots on the finished and dried chromatogram can be cut out and redissolved to obtain a pure sample of component of the sample mixture. Advantage: it's a slow technique and less sensitive when compared to TLC and others, and the component tend to streak out as the solvent reaches the front. Application of paper chromatography. It is used in several scientific studies in identification of unknown organic and inorganic compounds from a mixture, pharmaceutical industry, for the detection of adulterants and contaminants in foods and drinks, study of ripening and fermentation, the detection of drugs and dopes in animals and humans, and in cosmetic industries. Paper chromatography are widely used for the analysis of the reaction mixture in biochemical TLC. It is an example of a planar chromatography. The principle involved is partition and or adsorption chromatography depends upon the support media used. Stationary phase is the water which is held in the pores of filter paper used. Support media can be inorganic or can be organic. Advantage of thin layer chromatography. Greater resolving power because spots are smaller, greater speed of separation, a wider choice of material as sorbent, easy detection of spots, easy isolation of substance from the chromatogram. What should be the property of a mobile phase? Nature of the substance to be separated, that is polar or non-polar. Nature of stationary phase used. Nature of separation, that is analytical or preparative. Solvent used should be of high purity, and these are the solvents which are being used. These are the commonly used solvent system and adsorbent for the separation of different types of compounds. Application of TLC. It is used to check the purity of a sample, and it is determined by comparing RF value of a sample with the standard one. It is also employed in purification, isolation and identification of natural products like volatile oil or essential oils, fixed oil, waxes and so on. This is about chromatography. Thank you.